Welcome. Today we will explore how prayer moved from asking God for things to recognizing God as consciousness itself, following Joel Goldsmith's Infinite Way teachings. This journey shifts prayer from petition to presence, from need to recognition. Following Joel Goldsmith Infinite Way teachings, what does it mean to pray? At the early stages, prayer is often about petition, asking God to meet needs, supply health, peace, or material sufficiency. Joel Goldsmith points out that this stage arises from the belief in separation. In Joel Goldsmith's Infinite Way teachings, prayer is radically different from the traditional view of asking God for things. For Goldsmith, true prayer is not petitioning, pleading, or even praising, but rather a contemplative act of communion with God, an inner stillness where we realize oneness with the presence within. If you pray to God for anything, you are admitting that you do not already embody infinity, and therefore your prayer is not a prayer of recognition, but of separation. This kind of prayer assumes God is out there and we are here in lack, waiting for God to respond. When we ask, we unknowingly affirm lack. We assume God is distant and must be persuaded to act. Pause for reflection. Have I been praying from a place of need? Am I asking for what is already within? What prayer means in the infinite way, silent contemplation. Prayer is the practice of the presence of God in silence. It is a deep listening, not speaking. It involves turning within and becoming consciously aware of the truth that God is already present, already complete, and already providing all good. Prayer is not talking to God, not asking, not seeking. Prayer is the realization of God's presence. A shift in consciousness. Prayer is a lifting of consciousness above the appearances of lack, sickness, sin, or fear to the spiritual truth that God is all and God is infinite good. This means prayer is not an attempt to change God or the outer world, but to transform our inner awareness. Turning to recognition, awakening to God within. Goldsmith insists true prayer is not asking but recognizing what already is. Prayer is recognition of the presence of God, not an attempt to bring God to us or into a situation. Prayer becomes the quiet inward realization that God consciousness is already functioning as our being. Instead of asking, we turn inward. We pause and acknowledge God is here. God is the life, substance, and harmony of being. In this recognition, prayer becomes awareness. Not words, not requests, but the deep knowing of presence. Close your eyes, breathe gently, and silently acknowledge God is here, now. No mental argument or willpower. Unlike affirmations or mental treatments, infinite way prayer is not about declaring or forcing truth. It is resting in the quiet inner realization. I and the Father are one. Instead of words of petition, Goldsmith points us toward silent awareness. Be still and know that I am God. That is prayer. Not words, not thoughts, but recognition of God. Here, the practitioner ceases trying to get something and rests in the realization of God as omnipresence. This is the shift from speaking to listening, from asking to knowing. In silence, the pressure to solve problems lifts. We rest in the awareness that all needs are already met in divine consciousness. Pause for inner stillness. Rest in the silence. Feel the sufficiency of this moment. Nothing is missing. a receptive state. Prayer is not giving, it is receiving. In prayer, you become receptive to the still small voice of God, to divine grace, guidance, and healing. You do not try to make anything happen. You let God be God in your awareness. At this mature stage, prayer is no longer event-based, but life itself lived in God awareness. The highest form of prayer is the recognition that God already is, that God's grace already fills all space, and that nothing can be added to infinity. This is where needs dissolve because consciousness reveals supply, health, harmony, and fulfillment as already present. Impersonalization of the problem. Prayer also involves impersonalizing, even realizing that error has no real existence or power apart from our belief in it. In prayer, we nothingize the appearance and abide in the truth of spiritual wholeness. The highest prayer is not about events or crises. It is the recognition of what already is. The highest form of prayer is the recognition that God already is, that God's grace already fills all space, and that nothing can be added to infinity. Prayer becomes daily life lived in awareness. Each breath, each step, each encounter seen as the activity of God. Needs dissolve in recognition. Health, supply, harmony, and joy appear as unfoldments of consciousness, not as gifts from outside. A summary. To pray in the infinite way means entering into inner silence, listening rather than speaking, realizing oneness with God, not asking God to act, recognizing spiritual truth over appearances, resting in the awareness that all is already complete in spirit. Conclusion. So the journey of prayer is this: from asking, which affirms lack, to recognition, which reveals fullness, to silence, where God is known, to living prayer, where consciousness is everything. This is the infinite way. Prayer is not petition, it is recognition.